Hello, and welcome to the latest episode of Talking Loud. I am the host, Andrew Brower, and joining us today we have our usual guests. We have the Anglophile Gamer, but I'm pretty sure you all know him by Bossy by now.
Yeah, pretty much. It's been like, whatever, hey.
And we have our most popular member, Yoshi Player.
Hello, this is Yoshi Player.
Yeah,
all of you who are watching.
Yeah, he's back.
I'm back, finally.
I thought you were in the top 5 and bottom 5.
It took me 10 years, but I'm back.
And of course, we also have MuppetSpot.
I am MuppetSpot, and I don't get a special opening.
Well, I couldn't think of any. Oh, I couldn't think of anything for you this week, so.
Oh yeah. Why don't I try my traditional Link Shalom thing? Anyway.
Before we begin, you should go check out Ordinary Girl. It's amazing.
I mean, since you mentioned it, we might as well do a plug-in. Yeah, me and Yoshi did a series called Ordinary Girl that's up on his channel. We put out the first episode, and so far, a lot of the reception has been super positive, and we're already getting started on working on the next episode, so look out for that. Make sure to check out the show, share it with your friends, just get it out there, and also, of course, like it, because, you know, we all enjoy more positive opinions.
Yeah, we bring it up
Drew should read Rock the Way
and helping out with it, so.
Right, so.
Alright, so now you can begin.
Okay, so.
I won't be an ad anymore.
Alright, so we decided to do another episode of Talk. We decided to do this episode of Talking Loud because the new episodes for, because it turns out that they're now going back to the usual, like, 5 episodes a week. Yeah, week bombs, which honestly I'm glad they're doing, because, like, the episodes that have been coming out where they've been releasing them like every Friday, I guess because of low ratings, it's like, let's go back to having them be a week of episodes, which honestly I'm glad they're doing that, because it's like, it makes it easier for us, because then when we get a week of new episodes, then it'll be easier for us to record.
Yeah, we don't have to wait for everyone.
Right, yeah, so we're glad that they gone back to that, but I also think that they went back to that because the episodes that we're talking about this week, in my opinion, are not really that good. But today we're going to be talking about net gains, pipe dreams, fandom pains, reader her rights, and teachers union. And I mean, I already gave you a preview of my thoughts on the episodes, but we're going to talk about them individually because that's what we do in this podcast. So.
Because you want to hear a bunch of assholes. Listen, you want to hear a bunch of assholes.
Yes.
Pretty much what we are, just 4 assholes.
Yes.
Except me.
Except you. Oh, Mr. Braun, the family rage.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, this is not a trigger fest.
No,
it's meant to be a podcast.
But anyways,
I can easily mute it anyway.
Okay, let's first talk about the next episode, and the one that, out of all of them, seems to be the most well-received, and that's net gains. Lynn is desperately trying to win a basketball championship, but unfortunately she is assigned to a terrible team. So what did you guys think of this episode?
Boring!
At best, forgettable. At worst, mediocre.
I'm probably the most forgiving to this episode out of all of you.
I mean,
I worked so much for this.
Yeah, I am kind of like that with Yoshi as well. I mean, here's what I'll say. Like, if you haven't picked up on it already from previous episodes, I'm not a fan of Lynn at all. And I was not looking forward to this episode. I mean, not only because of Lynn, but also because the plot just didn't interest me. It just kind of seemed like, let's just have a plot where it seems like it could be taken out of any 90s sports film. You know,
exactly
really
that.
Is just a character that cannot interest me.
But
she does not appeal to me.
She hasn't had any good episodes.
But again, people were excited about this because there are a lot of people who want to see Lynn have a good episode, because there are fans out there who are sick of, like, Lynn getting a lot of hate. They're like, oh, Lynn gets too much hate. Like, why do y'all have to hate on her? Like, she's not that terrible of a character.
Haven't you seen No Such Luck?
I know. I mean, I like
Luck pretty much destroyed her reputation.
And
you know what? She deserved it.
But
okay.
Even then, she's not.
It's funny that you mentioned that episode, because in the last podcast you said that when I mentioned that episode, you were like, "Oh, don't mention it."
Oh gosh, I'm not reading off what I should have.
Whatever. At this point now,
at
this point now, it's been a year, so might as well say the episode by name. But that's not what we're talking about. For net gains, I mean, I will say this: it is Lynn's best episode, and I think that she is slightly improving as a character. Like now, I think that she isn't as annoying as I found her to be in season 1 and from season 2. I think she's gone from being obnoxious and not interesting to being not obnoxious and still not interesting. Like I just don't really find her interesting as a character. And unfortunately, this episode it was just okay. I guess I don't know.
It's like a 90s sports
Just
film.
like-
I mean, I will say this: it's probably the best episode that came out, but that's not saying much.
I'm a little bit more forgiving to this episode.
I mean,
'Cause
yeah.
there are
I have
things
a
I like
question.
about it.
Okay,
You know what? I at least
don't need-
understood Lynn's development. I thought the way they at least developed her was better than how they usually handle her in other episodes. And unlike, say, Linner Takes All, she does learn her lesson by herself. She's not told that what she's doing is wrong. She learns this, and I think that makes her development more believable. But-
yeah, you're definitely pointing out stuff that I definitely wasn't getting when I went back to this.
Yeah, that's definitely the thing I'll agree with you on with you, Yoshi, is that for this episode, Lynn does learn her lesson, and it feels like she learns her lesson on her own. It's not like Leonard Takes All, where it's like she's so dim-witted and dumb that people have to tell her that she's being annoying. At least this episode, she figures it out. So we can at least say that's development. And unlike Leonard Takes All, where she only kind of got the point, at least with this episode, she fully understands. It's just one of those things I will say is good about this episode. Lynn learns her lesson, and I feel like it was pulled off pretty well. I mean, again, although I don't know if pretty well is the right word, because I kind of felt like it's really basic, but again, she learned her lesson, and again, it's a message that's pretty standard. It's like, you know, it's better to work as a team than just do everything by yourself, but I don't know, I feel like, I mean, again, she learned her lesson, but I think it would have worked better if she, like, was not doing as well because she doesn't have people helping her, but of course, I think the writers didn't want to do that because it wouldn't fit for Lynn's character, because Lynn is just awesome at sports, and she never fails, because, you know, it's Lynn.
That's why she doesn't interest me. Besides also not being relatable at all.
And
I mean, Lynn
I mean,
herself-
another one is.
honestly, the episode was forgettable. Like, does anyone even
Forgettable
remember
at
the
best,
teammates?
fine.
I don't. All I remember about the teammates is that one had a broken ankle, one sweated a lot, another took naps a lot, and another one was. I don't even remember. I'm
They're alright characters, but I doubt.
Yeah, that's
oh,
not really.
Yeah, I thought they were decent.
That's
they're-
bad when you can't even remember the names of the characters.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like-
I know one is
I
named
couldn't
Maya.
remember them.
yeah.
I don't remember the
Maya, but I
names.
forget the rest.
I mean, yeah, and as far as Lynn goes, I don't think she was annoying in this episode. I mean, the beginning, it kind of pushed it for me, because I was like, are we seriously still doing this whole Lynn is superstitious about things thing?
Oh my freaking god, yes.
They already
You
learned
really
their.
have to bring this up after a year?
Because they think that's
A
what
year.
fans love about her.
No, some people want Lynn to die after her stupid superstition.
Yeah, there is no freaking need to ever bring that up again. Like, why?
It just
You
feels
need
like
to
in this
bring it up.
episode. It just feels like in this episode, Lynn's more of both a pro and a con. It's like a pro because, you know, she learns her lesson, but it's also a con because
True,
she's
but
just
I-
not that interesting.
Yeah, I definitely
Yeah,
have to
she's-
interpret this correctly.
She's
I mean,
not funny. I don't think anything about her is
Not
funny.
I've never found Lynn funny.
I mean,
Or this-
apparently we seem to be the minority, because a lot of people find Lynn hilarious, and I just don't get it.
I used to like her a lot, but that has changed come like mid-season 2. And
Yeah,
especially with Lola getting better and all that stuff. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I mean, again, like the beginning, it's like this whole superstitious thing where she like unties her shoes and ties them on, then runs around the van. And it's just like, don't go left. Left is bad luck, or some shit like that. It was just like, are we
Yeah.
seriously doing this? I got a little bit annoyed, but thankfully they didn't do that throughout the rest of the episode. And then
yeah,
they like
at least
do
they
this,
didn't focus.
Mm.
and then they do this other thing where it's like with Flip, which we'll get to Flip in a little bit because I do have some things to talk about with him, but. There's like a few scenes where Lynn is like trying to negotiate and manipulate Flip, and it's like, hey, I'll make a deal with you, like we do this, and I was just like, okay, wait, did Lynn suddenly turn into Lola? Like, when has she ever been good at negotiating deals with people?
Lynn's always been. Can I say this for a lack of better words? Not the sharpest knife in the drawer.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. When people
Hey,
saw this
even
episode,
Lisa even said it.
yeah, I mean, because, like, that's one of the things that did kind of annoy me a little, is that people were praising the fact that Lynn was like, oh, she's, like, sly and manipulative. I'm just like, am I the only one that doesn't buy this? Like, I could see Lola and maybe even Lisa doing this, but Lynn I just can't because she's just too. I don't want to be an asshole or anything, but she's just too dumb as a character. Like,
She's a bonehead.
Right, and like multiple episodes have pretty much established that already. That she's, I mean, next to Lenny, she's probably the dumbest character out of the siblings. You know, but like now it's like she's suddenly good with negotiating deals and is like talking to people and whatnot. And it's just like, again, I see what they were trying to do. It just didn't fit with Lynn's character. I'm sorry for anybody who loved that, but I was just not on the same page.
Okay, I do have another problem to bring up. I don't think any of you did, but this episode feels like a weaker version of Road to Nowhere. It's like the elements are very similar.
I'm glad you brought that up because like that's the thing that does unfortunately worry me is that NetGains. I feel like NetGains is going to end up overshadowing Road to Nowhere, and people are going to prefer NetGains over Road to Nowhere simply because NetGains is about Lynn learning her lesson, and people are going to praise it more. Whereas for Road to Nowhere, they're just going to see it as just a typical Luna episode. You know, which it stinks because Road to Nowhere. I know I'm in the minority, but it's my favorite episode of season 3 so far. Easily.
Or I have to say the same thing as well. It's a fantastic episode.
Yeah, I've seen it.
And I am also in the minority group. Yeah, it was season 2.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen that episode probably 20 times, and maybe even more at this point. Like, I love that episode, but unfortunately, I feel like for NetGains, I don't think it's as good, but it's going to end up getting talked about more just because it's Lynn, and she learned her lesson. People are going to love it.
Yeah, and it took her to be, like, unless I, like, took it wrong, I felt it like she still had to get overshadowed by the other teammates that she found in order for her to learn that lesson. But that's kind of what I found. I might be interpreting it incorrectly. That's kind of how I saw it as.
Yeah.
Like, for her to realize that she was overshadowing her team, it took her to be overshadowed herself.
Yeah, and I get...
Maybe I'm wrong, but that's kind of how I saw it.
Yeah, and I get why people will do that, because, like, again, like I said at the beginning, Lynn has been one of those characters where everyone has been like, oh, you guys are over-hating, like, she's not that terrible. I mean, I've already said it before, I don't agree with that, but I see where they're coming from. I mean, and it does stink when you love a character that everyone else hates. I mean, it's like, you know, you love this character and everyone is just, like, hating on them. I get why, but...
It's kind of like me and Lisa.
Right, except...
Lisa has a big fan base, weirdly enough.
She does.
I actually did not think that.
And unlike Lynn, Lisa is actually showing improvement, and which is why I'm actually looking forward to Mad Scientist, even if it sounds like just another version of GarageBand, but still.
Well, let's get on to Flip.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up.
Let's talk about one of the few positive things that I have to say. Probably the best thing about the episode, I think.
Yeah. Flip, for me, easily ends up stealing the show. He's probably the best part of this episode. Like, he
was funny.
John DiMaggio, honestly, John DiMaggio can read the phone book and make it really funny.
Right, like he pretty much has, like, Flip pretty much has the funniest lines in this episode. Like, if he was taken out of this episode, I probably wouldn't like it as much. He made this episode for me. He made it more amusing to watch. Like, probably one of my... There's, like, a few parts that I thought were funny. 2 of them, actually. The first is where they were at that basketball court convincing those 2 other... older basketball girls to come on the team, and then, like, Flip, like, takes the town sign and then gets arrested for it. I thought that was pretty funny. And then at the very end, Flip pretty much decides to give the team free flippies, and then it turns out to just be one flippy with, like, 5 straws.
He gives them, like, one for the whole team.
Like,
that was funny.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, like, again, those moments I thought were funny in the episode, and I think Flip, he ended up, like, for me, Flip, I feel like, is probably my favorite minor character in the show. Like, I feel like anytime this guy shows up, he just makes an episode better.
Honestly, whenever John DiMaggio shows up in general, he makes the episode.
Right, like, how I feel about him is, like, how I feel about him the same way as I feel about someone like Mr. Grouse. Like, it's like whenever they show, it's like whenever this character shows up, it just makes the episode more amusing to watch.
Yeah, I don't even know if I like Flip or Mr. Grouse more. I mean, I still prefer Clyde's dads over both of them.
I mean,
but I'm not sure which of those two I prefer.
I mean,
Flip is like Apu, but we won't talk about what's going on with Apu as of late.
Right. I mean, again, for Snow Way Out, an episode that I think everyone forgot about, Flip ended up being one of the few good things about that episode. So, I mean, that's all I really have to say about NetKings. It's Lynn's best episode, but I just think it's only okay. I mean, I don't love it as much as I don't love it as much as everybody else does, and I wouldn't be surprised if people put this in like their top 10 for favorite episodes of season 3. But I'm sorry, I don't feel the same way. It's just okay. Anything else?
Let's just talk about the next episode.
That's mediocre, worse. I said it like 5 times, but whatever. I'll say it again.
Anyways, the next episode, Pipe Dreams. Mom and Dad are tired
Wait, hold on. I wanted to say something.
Oh, what is it?
What?
Oh, how I was gonna rank the episode.
Oh,
now if you follow me, then you know that I rank episodes based on the Glory House, Average House, or Garbage House, which is what I'm gonna be doing throughout this podcast. This episode, I think it's decent enough to earn a spot in the Glory House. Not amazing, but it's fine for me. I know I'm the most forgiving, but yeah, I thought it was fine. Alright, continue.
So, Pipe Dreams. Mom and Dad are tired of standing in the long line in front of the bathroom all the time. That's why they are building a secret bathroom. So, what did you think of this episode?
Recycling and boring.
I honestly would say this was pretty solid. I was stoked for a Lana episode at first when I saw this. I was like, ooh, Lana episode. And I'm like, okay, that's not what we got. But what we got wasn't that terrible.
I mean,
I don't think it was.
I kind of thought the same way, because when I saw that title...
That's for dumb whiny joke at the beginning.
I felt the same way as you, Vossi. Like, when I saw Pipe Dreams, I was like, what is this about? And then I thought of Lana, since she's, like, the mechanic. She, like, fixes things really well. It's like, okay, maybe this could be a Lana episode, and I would be fine with that. I'm mostly positive on Lana episodes. I think most of them are decent. But, I mean, but when I saw the plot for this, I was like, okay, it could maybe be interesting. It answers that long, age-old question of, like, do the parents have their own bathroom?
No more asking. We can agree on one thing. No more asking age-old questions for the show.
Yeah, because, last time that happened, it didn't end well.
Yeah. So, Yoshi, you're pretty silent on this.
Yoshi?
Oh, I just realized he's muted.
Hold on.
Okay. So, he'll come back with us in a bit, but for Pipe Dreams, I mean, honestly, do I really need to talk about this episode? What does there even say? It's like...
I know. I didn't have too much to say.
Oh, I know what to say. The parents aren't the bad guys.
Yeah, like, that's one of my main issues with this episode, is that they tried to frame Lynn Singer and Rita as, like, being evil and mean and cruel, like, oh wow, they're building a bathroom for themselves because they're the parents who pretty much provide food for their family, a house for their kids, all the money that they need to pay the bills and give to their kids, and clothing and all this kind of stuff. They're building a bathroom? How selfish. Like, that's how
I don't think...
I don't see that as selfish.
I don't either.
I have something to say. It's like, so you're saying building a bathroom is selfish, but yet you won't intervene when your children are on a strike of their chores.
Yeah, like, now... Okay.
Oh, that's actually a good example.
Okay, I'll say this. Like, there's only 2 things I say that I liked in this episode. There are only 2 scenes, by the way. The first, and I'm surprised to say it actually kind of involves Lynn. It's that scene where Lynn Singer, I think, was getting something, like, from outside, and he had to go through the kitchen, and Lynn was there. 2 Lyns in one scene. But, like, then when Lynn Singer came back, his pants, they looked funny, and Lynn's facial...
I think I know what you mean.
Lynn's
Her
facial...
face was hilarious.
Lynn's face looked like she just was like, what the fuck?
That facial expression...
What on earth are you doing?
That facial expression is probably the funniest thing Lynn has ever done. Like, I'm being dead serious. I thought that was amusing.
Lynn's face looked like, what the hell?
And the second thing that I liked was, I don't know how I liked it. I thought it was clever how they had the writers in the show, like, as like a construction crew. I thought it was kind of clever, where it's like, okay, Kevin, Sammy, Whitney,
Sammy,
Carla.
Oh yeah, I eventually got what the references there.
It's the writers. I thought it was. Yeah, it was a clever...
The classic Easter egg.
That
was a really clever nod.
It was a clever nod that they added. I think that's something that I think fans will pick up on, and I think they'll like it. But...
Yeah, I didn't really get it until Kevin or Carla. What Carla was saying. I was like, oh, the kick's on the writers. Oh, that's good.
But other than that, I mean, what else can I say about this episode? It really isn't much.
Cops.
I mean,
Because, of course, I'm the one to mention it.
like I said, they try and make the parents come off as evil and mean for having their own bathroom.
Okay, and can we talk about the humor? The humor was just
Yeah,
lowbrow.
There's not a lot of funny gags.
There was a lot of
And sorry,
gross
Monty.
jokes.
Like,
I hate to say this, but the Lana bucket thing was disgusting, not
That-
funny.
For some reason,
They actually showed that,
I
and
know
it
more
was
reason than I
disgusting.
probably should have.
yeah, that
Super
second
amazing,
bathroom thing from Lana, when that scene
The whole
happened,
flashing thing. Oh yeah, it's gross.
when
but-
that happened, it kind of made me want to throw up, and that made me realize, okay, this is why Lana's not in my top 5, because I just don't like her gross humor. I just don't like it.
I don't know why her humor can work for me.
I don't
but,
know.
Like most of her
Some-
humor just doesn't work.
I don't
So
know.
for some reason, Lana,
Sometimes,
it just works. I don't know why.
I think it-
sometimes her gross out works, and then sometimes it
I
just
know
It's
doesn't.
dumb.
Here's how gross out works would be better in the show. If they don't if they just show it from a distance or don't make it super grotesque looking. i.e.
That's why the gum was actually kind of funny.
And
the
It was
gum
super
The gum
terrible.
doesn't look disgusting or anything. Yet
Exactly,
with
it's
the
just out of a
bathroom
trash can. It's not that insane.
or what happened in Reader Her Rights, it's like it's really disgusting and gross.
Yeah,
looking.
we'll get to that episode in a bit,
Well,
but like that's another problem I have. Like the story, it doesn't really get interesting. It all feels very predictable and safe. The first half is basically them trying to hide the bathroom from their kids, and then the second half is where they get worried that they'll find out, and they set up all these security systems. And like the whole running joke is like the pets find out and they leave like little things, and the parents get even more paranoid. It's like we gotta add this security system and this security system, and then like I was like I already know where this is gonna go. Like they're gonna add so many security systems, so they're gonna end up locked in and they can't get out, and the kids are gonna have to get them out, and they explain the whole thing and yada yada yada. I'm already not interested.
And that ending was a cop out.
Okay, yeah, and then the ending pretty much just ends up going back to square one, where they're now back in line, which means it made me feel like everything that happened was just a waste of time. So it's like,
Kind of like another episode that answered an age-old question. That
Right.
Bossy loves.
No.
No.
like that's my problem with. That's probably my biggest issue, aside from the parents and how they tried to make them out to be. One of my biggest issues was the ending. It just went back to status quo and just back to the beginning. It's like they're back in line and nothing really changed all that much. All that it happened is just now you know why they don't have a bathroom, and that's it. So really, this episode's just pointless. It's like, why does this exist? I mean, if it's entertaining, well, there's nothing really all that funny or amusing here.
I mean, I'm fine with an episode not doing much as long as it's entertaining. I don't care if an episode is pointless as long as it's entertaining, but this is just not. It's boring, and it tries to frame the parents for being guilty even though they're the parents. They're
The
Yeah,
allowed to
parents
do what
have
they
done
want.
worse. Honestly,
They've done worse than this, honestly.
Right, and then like at the end they like apologize to the kids, and then like when their bathrooms are ruined, the kids are like, "That's okay, we'll still let you use our bathroom." Like they act like they're entitled to that bathroom, where it's like, no, they can use that bathroom. They're the parents. Like you don't act.
Exactly.
okay, I know I'm gonna be
That just
tempting
seems
fate.
hypocritical.
I'm gonna be tempting fate here, but isn't there another bathroom in the garage?
Wait a minute.
Yeah, from
Oh, wait, no,
GarageBand,
continuity
which
can't exist.
from GarageBand, another episode that I don't care for.
Yes,
Oh, yeah, I
that
forgot about the whole thing, the Lana built in GarageBand. But wait, continuity can't exist, and the show can't make sense because
I
not a
feel
lot
like-
exists.
I'm sorry, I just had to bring it up.
Yeah, but other than that, there's really nothing else I can say. This episode is just forgettable, predictable, not interesting.
just-
Move on.
Let's just tear into this one. I'm excited.
Speaking
Wait.
of episodes that also don't need to exist.
Yoshi has to do something first.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
And he's muted.
There's-
Okay, so we'll wait for him to get back.
Okay, I should.
So I was gonna say, what would you give this episode?
Average house, glory house.
I don't know what he would give it, but all right, you know what? He'll probably tell us in a bit. But let's move on to fandom pains. Lucy is upset that Lori and Lenny started watching their vampire series just because a new character was introduced. What did you guys think of this episode?
It was shit.
Why does this episode exist?
It was shit.
No,
It was
legit.
shit. It was
Why
actual
does this exist?
bullshit.
This episode has... Okay, I'm not going to call this anywhere near one of the worst things I've ever seen it come out of the show, because I don't think you can top the worst anymore. Ugh. Thanks, stupid theorists.
Yeah, we are. And
Yeah, we're not gonna
an
be.
episode that screams, "Why do I exist?" I think it's this one.
Yeah. Okay. So if you.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
I'm
yes. All right. Cool. So we're about to talk about fandom pain. So we wanted to ask, what would you give Pipe Dreams?
Alright, Pipe Dreams. Well, if my thoughts weren't obvious, this is going in the average house. And average is not always for 6 out of 10 episodes. If I had to give it a numbered score, 5. I'm sorry, this episode was just boring and it's pointless. There's no reason for it to exist and it's not entertaining, it's not funny.
This feels like a season 1 leftover. That episode felt like a season 1 leftover.
Right, but they added it to season 3 just because the parents' faces were shown.
They could just done it in season 2.
Maybe, but anyways, fandom pains. We were talking about that episode. I asked what you thought of it, and apparently we are in the minority because a lot of people love this episode.
Yeah, I don't see it.
I did an overrated episode template based on this episode, and apparently a
was
lot
shit.
of people didn't like it.
Oh gosh, you don't.
So
It was shit.
If you can
I'm
get to
gonna-
it, you're gonna hear me get pissed.
I'm gonna
Okay,
Over
Are
one
we talking about
thing.
this
section
episode?
off, but
Oh, I wanna
I'm
talk
gonna
about
start
one
this
thing.
section off, but this episode sucks. I don't
Yeah,
care what people say. People love this episode. They say it's like, and look, this episode had a good idea. Like, it pokes fun at fandoms. That's a good idea. I think that has
Mhm.
potential. But
they really don't
man,
do
this
much.
I think if
it just doesn't
you
do
just
much
have
with that
Lucy
concept.
And
It
instead,
just-
But no, you
Yeah.
have to shoehorn in
Instead,
four
we just get a
siblings.
rehash. Instead, we just get a rehash of Spell It Out.
right, which
That episode that I didn't remember
That's really how I
at
feel.
all.
yeah, it's just a
This
rehash.
episode I'm gonna forget.
It's a rehash to Spell It Out, which I'm going to be alone in this and saying that it is my favorite Lucy episode. But I
Lucy's
mean,
best episode,
that's
but it
episode I
still
don't
has its
remember.
problems.
yeah, I mean for fandom pains, I mean I'm planning on doing a full review of it on my DeviantArt, but I will still talk about it because I have a lot to say. I mean, and yeah, I'm with these guys. I didn't like this. This was disappointing.
No.
It was shit.
Like,
Not,
okay,
not just not good. I'll say it. This is in the garbage house. This is a bad episode, and I don't care what people say. It's
It
bad.
was,
And it
was
doesn't
shit.
help that I don't like Lucy, and it doesn't even help more that I don't like Lenny either. And the fact that Lori and Lenny have absolutely no reason to be in this episode doesn't really help that fact.
honestly,
Oh
from
God,
a
don't
friend
even
I was
start on
talking
Bomb.
to,
Don't
my goth
even.
friend. All right,
Okay.
I want to get one of my minor complaints out of the way. The portrayal of God.
okay,
God.
yeah. So there's a scene that happens here in this episode where they're doing a petition thing, and I was on board. I was like, okay, this could be amusing until I realized that it was a comic ripped straight out of Live Life Loud. And they pretty much do it the same way, where it's like we got these names and we got candy because they thought we were trick-or-treaters. Goth perks, which I was like, isn't that kind of offensive to goths? Like,
Yeah, it is.
Like,
I was talking.
I'm surprised this hasn't been brought up more, and more people were offended by this, but I
Well-
guess not.
Okay, here's the thing. Goths don't watch The Loud House. They watch Invader Zim and SpongeBob. But when my friend saw that, here's what she said. Fuck that scene. She just said, fuck it.
Yeah, I mean,
This
She was pissed because it's like,
quite offensive.
because I go to goth cons. Now don't think I'm into any dungeon stuff or anything like that.
yeah, we don't want
But I
to.
digress. But anyway, goths are more about poetry and doing spooky things. It's not like they think every day's Halloween. They like
It's like,
working on
oh, we're
their
like
art.
dressed up all in black. They think we're trick-or-treaters. It's like, maybe they're just dressing black because that's how they want to dress. Like,
Yeah,
it's not like they're wearing a costume.
it's. She even said if they made fun of like all goths work at Hot Topic, she would be like, okay, that's funny. That's
Well-
kind of true.
Right, yeah. But like for this, it's like, I mean, again, like, poking fun at goths, it can work if it's something that actually kind of comes off true. Which is what I think could have worked for this episode, is that they could have made fun of fandoms in a way where it's like, they kind of go a little bit deep into it. Like, where they like make fun of like, how like, for like characters on the show, whether major or minor, people love them in a way where they make fan work, they cosplay as them, they create stories about them, backstories,
It's like
and
all the
just, like,
Marvel-
create like this giant universe with this character and like a whole backstory and whatnot. They could have done that to make fun of it, and sure, I can see people from Loud House being offended by being like, that's not how fandoms are like. Well, here's the truth. Most fandoms are like this, if not all of them.
Yeah, look at all the Margot and Maggie fans.
Yeah, which honestly, I mean, I don't get why a lot of people love Margot, but we'll talk about that when we talk about Frenzy on the next podcast. But as far as fandom paints go, I mean, they do poke fun at fandoms, but it just feels so surface level. Like they do this thing again. There's only like 2 moments where they're making fun of fandoms. The first is like the whole thing where like Lori and Lenny are like in love with this character, which again could be a funny idea, except it just seems like they love this character just because it's a hot actor, and it's not because of like for other fandoms they love a character because like they love like the character design, the personality, the backstory and whatnot. This episode doesn't really do that, which is why it just feels so superficial.
Okay, do you want to hear something from my experience?
Sure.
I had a really huge Mac thing back in 2012 and 2013, and I don't know why I had that love for Mac. And if they had a love for no apparent reason, I would have been like, okay, I'm fine with that. Because I went through that phase where I loved a character for a weird reason. I don't even know why I liked Mac. But in this episode, it's just like
it's so shallow. It's just like we love this character because he's so hot.
It's like saying you love the Tom Cruise movie because you think Tom Cruise is a hot actor.
Right, and again, the only other thing they do to poke fun at fandoms is the whole petition thing, which only leads to the one thing that I found. It wasn't amusing. I thought it was a little clever, where at the very end, like the character returns, which I thought was kind of amusing, poking fun at the whole thing, where it's like fandoms put out all these petitions for ridiculous things, and pretty much they never work.
Some of them do, like that stupid spin-off.
Right, so like again, it was a little amusing, but that's like the only amusing gag. And that's another issue I have this episode. It's not funny.
No, it's not funny.
Like there aren't really any funny jokes here.
Not even the garlic-related gags are that funny.
Probably gonna
I like dark humor.
I do want to talk about.
I'm probably gonna get hate for this, for one thing.
Well, before we get into that, there's a few other things I do want to point out. Like, okay, let's first talk about the characters here. Like, Lori and Lenny...
oh my god, Lori and Lenny...
No!
They were so annoying in this episode for 3 reasons.
They had no point.
There were like 3 reasons I had to hating them. First off, their fangirlism. It's so annoying, and
it is, especially when they freaking use the acronym. Oh my freaking god!
No, they're just loving it just because he's a hot actor. That's the only reason, and that's a stupid reason. It's not funny.
I don't know.
Second, they're both flanderized. They both turn into an exactly the same character.
Except one's a bitch.
Giving Lucy a problem. But then there's something about them that really bugs me, and that's towards the end. At one point,
okay, we'll talk about that ending in a bit. I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but yeah, like, I'm sorry. I mean, I've been saying this to some people. I've been saying that Lori and Lenny are pretty much becoming the same character, and I feel like this episode is perfect evidence of that, because it's like even before in certain episodes like self-improvement, you can like tell differences between them. Like Lori is mean and not as dumb as Lenny, and Lenny is dumb, but she's much nicer than Lori. But this episode, they're just the same character. They're both fangirling. They're both like ditzy. They pretty much don't realize how annoying they are. It's pretty much the same problem that Lynn had from Space Invader. She doesn't realize how annoying she's coming off. But I feel like for this episode they do it worse, which I'll let Yoshi talk about it for the ending.
Yes, okay. So can I talk about the ending now?
Go ahead.
Okay. So yes, the fangirling gets really stupid, but the ending comes right out of nowhere. So at one point, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but
we talk about spoilers on here, so go ahead.
They try to get the character killed off, and then when that happens, Lori and Lenny, they get upset and they quit the show. Then Lucy, she feels bad for what she did. She misses them. So then when she tells them, "Oh, I want to watch the show with you guys," for some strange reason, this comes out of nowhere. They say, "Oh, we only stayed to watch the show with you because we want to spend some time with you." This comes right the hell out of nowhere, because if they wanted to stay, then why did they leave when the character was killed off? And then they don't come back to it. That doesn't make any sense. And that just, for some reason, is supposed to make us feel like we're supposed to feel sorry for Lori and Lenny, but I don't feel sorry for them. I just see them, we're just coming up. We're just having these little excuses to excuse us for not being so annoying because we stayed and wanted to watch the show with you. But they never give any hints to it. they never hint at it in the episode. So this delivery just comes right out of nowhere, and that really frustrates me. If they wanted to spend time with Lucy, fine, but that didn't mean they had to quit the show. That annoys me.
Yeah, okay, I see where you're coming from. I don't know if you explained it the best, but okay. So I see where you're coming from with, like, that ending, and here's the thing. I could see where they were going with the ending, where it's like, we watched the show because of, I even forgot what the guy's name is. Tristan, is it?
Yeah, what is it?
Like,
Who the hell cares?
But, yeah, like, they stayed because of Tristan, but, like, they started watching the show because of Tristan, but they stayed because they want to spend time with Lucy. But here's my issue I take with it, is that they try and make it seem like this is a way to get into a show, because you're watching a show out of pity for somebody. Like it's like you don't care about the show whatsoever. You won't follow along with the story or the characters or the situations or whatever, but you're going to be a fan of the show just because you feel sorry for somebody. Which if anything, that doesn't make you a fan of the show. It makes you a fake fan, because it makes it seem like they're only doing it just because they can't spend time with Lucy. Well, if you want to spend time with Lucy, just do something both of you enjoy. Like, you don't have to enjoy.
Ooh, you know what would have been a much better ending?
What?
If Lucy showed them how to do eyeshadow and stuff, like makeup. They talk about makeup, right? And how they both use makeup in their works, right?
Right. So
that would have been a great ending. Just be like, you know what? I don't care about the show. I don't want to do the show. I want to hang out with you guys, right?
And again, I could see this ending working if they said that they really enjoyed the show. The problem is that, like, early in the episode, they didn't care at all. They were like, who's that character? What's that? They weren't even paying attention. They were just like, oh, Tristan's here. I'm going to keep watching because he's hot. It seemed like they didn't care about the show. All they cared about was the hot guy. And then at the end, they want to keep watching just out of pity for Lucy, which annoyed me because it made it seem like it's okay to like a show just because you feel sorry for somebody, which, if anything, that's just annoying, because if somebody told me that they liked a show just because they felt sorry for me, I would have been like, well, you're not a fan of the show, you just feel sorry for me, and honestly, I'm annoyed by that.
Yeah, I should have worded it like that. That does annoy me.
And
honestly, I rewatched the episode. Honestly, you could replace Lori and Lenny with any other character. It could be Lincoln and Clyde, and it would just be the same thing, right? Just with different stuff.
Except maybe without the obnoxious acronym. Ugh!
Yeah.
Sorry.
Clinkin' McCloud, much Fozzie.
No, I'm not talking about the fact it'd be Clinkin' McCloud. Just, oh my freaking god.
Don't they make acronyms?
I'm sorry, I'm not over the freaking VOM thing, okay?
VOM, yeah, vampires
Yeah, call it like that.
Which I guess that does annoy some fans. I never picked up on that. Like, I was never annoyed when somebody called the Loud House TLH. I never was annoyed with that. I was like, okay.
It annoys me on a societal isolate level.
But I think that might be, I think that's part of the joke, which it's like, oh, this is how fans are acting, which I'm just like, yeah, but again, it's very surface level. Like, they don't really, especially in the age of the
part
internet.
Of the joke.
In the age of the internet, they really could have, like, cut deep and really made fun of, like, how true fandoms are, how they really are. But I feel like if they did that, then a lot of people would hate the episode. They'd be like, oh, this episode is mean. Like, this is not how fandoms are. Honestly,
I'd rather, if it was me, I would have loved if it was mean. I love kind of mean-spirited humor.
I mean, again, it would have been mean-spirited, but it also would have been really clever, because it would have been like,
and really funny.
Yeah, they are right on the money about this. Like, this is exactly how fandoms are like. But this episode doesn't do that, though. It just feels basic, and the reason why I don't like this episode is just there was so much potential to just be good, and it just disappointed me.
It was shit.
Yeah, and unfortunately, another problem I have here, again, are the characters. Like, for Lucy, in the second half, they try and make her out to be, like, evil and mean, where it's like, oh, it's so mean of her to, like, do the petition thing, where it's just like, well, if I was in her situation, I'd feel the same way, because I'm trying to watch my show, and these two people are annoying me and making the experience worse. And they're fake fans, you know? So if anything, I actually sympathize with Lucy on this. It's like, I kind of feel sorry for you being put in this situation, but I guess I'm supposed to feel scorn for you, because, like, you pretty much, like, Lori and Lenny are not going to watch a show all because of you. And, like, they try to do this thing where they make her feel guilty, which I thought was stupid. and then they also like do this thing where like we have to do like this pre-ritual thing for like watching the show, which I've never seen anybody do this. Like, do any of you do anything to like pre-ritual a new episode of Loud House or anything?
Besides coming 30 minutes late, no.
Like, do you think
maybe get a drink, or maybe get into something a little comfortable?
I've never seen anybody do this, but I guess some fandoms are like this. I have no idea, but like I can see
Oh
what's
god! I just thought of something bad. I just thought of something really disgusting.
What?
What if the Loud House fandom strips down to their tiny whities when they watch the show?
I wouldn't be surprised. But like, and honestly, I think this episode would have worked better if Lori and Lenny are played up more as the villains. Because honestly, I feel like how they act, they could work as the antagonists, but they don't do that. They try and make you feel sorry for them. Where it's like, why should I feel sorry for them? They're being annoying. It's the same problem I have with Space Invader, where like where Lynn is the villain, but they don't want her to be the villain. It's like she's clearly annoying Lincoln and making things worse, but I guess she's not the villain. Kind of like for this episode, where Lori and Lenny are annoying Lucy, but they're not the villains. Like, I don't get it. I mean, again, like it should have been where Lucy. It should have been what Lincoln did to Lynn in Space Invader. Lucy should have called them out and just be like, "You guys are being annoying and ruining this show for me." But I guess if they did that, people would not like it, and they would call it mean-spirited.
Well, haven't you guys watched stuff
it would be rightfully justified.
Yeah, like it's justified. And again, I'm disappointed with this episode. Like, there's only like again the thing at the end. It was a little amusing, and then there's like this whole little. And here's another thing. The only evidence we get that Lucy would feel guilty for what she did is that she got a shirt. And that's it. Like she got a shirt and now she feels guilty for what she did to Lori and Lenny. It's like, so you got a shirt and now you feel bad. Boo-hoo. It's like, even before that, you weren't enjoying the whole thing with, like, the pre-ritual thing for watching the show. Like, you weren't enjoying it, but you get a shirt and now you miss all of it, which I was like, that's not enough evidence. Like, that's not enough to make me feel guilty for Lucy. And make you feel sorry for Lori and Lenny.
Let's just get this thing over with.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna talk more about this in a full review at some point. I do hope to put it out soon, but let's just move on.
Yeah.
So
if you didn't listen before, this is just a bad episode, and I'll probably get like. That's why I said before I put it in the garbage house, because when I say I don't like an episode, people are usually like, oh, does that mean he thinks it's mediocre or bad? No, this episode, it's just bad. I guess that's not so bad, considering this is only the second bad episode I've seen this season.
And I've seen much worse from the series. Like,
and this is not one of the worst episodes. I'll go as far as to say, not most, if not all, the bad episodes from the previous seasons are much worse than this.
Yes.
Like, I'd rather watch this than say, I don't know, Change of Heart, Not Allowed.
Oh god, don't mention it!
For all the family, no such love.
Thank you for
Greenhouse.
mentioning
To be fair, I put not a lot of
reminding me of my angry
angry
zines.
Oh crap.
Alright, let's move on.
Okay,
I've seen this shirt.
Rita her rights. After racking up tickets, Mom...
It was originally called Rita her heights.
Okay, yeah, let's
think
talk about this for a second.
That's a mistranslation.
Here's like the thing, is that when the episode title was announced, it was called Rita Her Heights, which we all thought was weird. I was like, what could this mean? And then the actual title came out, which was Rita Her Rights. So I guess it was like, I don't know, it was...
Mistranslated. That's
yeah,
what
I thought it was kind of... I thought that was
Either
kind
it was
of...
mistranslated or it was changed during production.
But back to Reed.
It's funny. It's like it's funny how a title can change your perception on an episode.
Right. So.
All right.
Okay, Rita Her Rights. After racking up tickets, Mom finds it more relaxing performing community service than being at home. So, what did you guys think of this episode?
Boring.
Yeah, it's boring.
Decent. Honestly, one I
Not
probably
bad.
would come back
Good.
to.
It's just
Yeah, it's weird to say that. I'm pretty positive. I've been pretty positive about this entire thing.
it's hard for me to think of what to say about this episode. I had the most minimal thoughts about it. It's not good.
I mean, talk about this.
It's just okay, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
Mediocre.
here's the funny thing: is that we're in the minority for not saying this episode is all right, because a lot of other people hate this episode. Like, a lot of people are saying this episode sucks and it's the worst episode of season 3, which I kind of see where they're coming from, but for me, it's just it's just forgettable. It's
I
how
don't think it's that bad. I mean, it's
isn't.
it's much
I
better
think-
than say Fool Me Twice or
Phantom
Pain.
Paint.
Oh
Jinx.
God,
But-
no. Yeah, Phantom Pains, no.
But it ain't good. But it's not as bad as people are saying it out to be. Honestly, it's kind of underrated, but also not good either.
I mean,
If that makes sense.
for me, I would kind of feel the same way about this episode for something like, say, Out on Limo, which I know Vossi doesn't like.
Yeah, but it's like...
Because it reminds him of another SpongeBob episode. Roll
oh,
dumb.
well, at least it's been topped or bottomed? Is that a thing?
I
Can
don't
you bottom
know.
something? Like you can top something?
But,
Says the grammar nerd.
but as far as Rita her rights go, I'll talk about... I mean, again, there's not much to say about this episode. I mean, like... I mean, for this episode, it's pretty simple. It's like Rita is pretty much like she's pretty much taking on the role of like what Lincoln had from Project Loud House, where she's trying to get everyone ready, and like it's really complicated. And then it turns out she racked up a lot of parking tickets, which she has to do community service. She actually enjoys it, which I was like, it's a little weird, but okay. I mean, you're not from your family, so maybe that's why. Then she comes home, and like everything's all chaotic, and she pretty much like decides to rack up more tickets, rack up enough tickets to keep doing community service, and then when she decides to stop doing it, she ends up going to jail. So I mean,
Okay, I have one thing I want to complain about.
what is it?
Why is Lincoln irresponsible like everyone else? Isn't he supposed to be the man with the plan?
Yeah, they have like this weird running joke. I think it's a running joke where like Lincoln is the last one to get out of bed because he's slow in the morning. Which I was like, do you not remember Project Loud House where you pretty much helped get everyone ready in the morning?
Of course not.
I mean, I can see people saying, oh, he was only doing that just because of his project or some other comment like that. But I was like, well, again, he like pretty much helped everyone get ready in the morning. Like, is he really that slow to get up? So that didn't make sense. That's the problem I have with this episode. It's the same one that I've been having with pretty much almost all of the new episodes we've had. It's just not funny. You know, like whether it be like Lana puking on
That was disgusting.
Okay,
Yeah,
even that crossed the line for me.
Yeah, where Lana
From the bug
accidentally,
thing, I'm
in air
sorry about
quotes,
those things.
puked on Rita, which that was gross, or like
Ugh.
Lynn acting like a
And then you
lunatic.
mentioned eating bugs too. Blah.
Or Lynn acting like a lunatic because people find that funny, I guess. I don't know. And it's like, again, I can't really find anything funny in this episode. I mean, I guess I could say that whole cake, file and cake thing, I guess it was alright, I guess. But
I
I
think it's done better in other cartoons.
I didn't really get it though. Like,
But that's
I got
really
the little
it.
pun more, but the
I
little
mean,
pun I found really amusing, but it's grammar related, so of course I did.
And honestly, I just didn't find Rita all that engaging as a character. Like, she's not Lynn Senior, where I get that Rita has to be the more responsible parent, but that doesn't mean you have to be dull as a character.
Rita is more boring than Bert from Sesame Street. That's bad. When Bert from Sesame Street is more interesting. What do you say, Bozzy?
Right, so like, again,
Yeah,
I don't really
that.
have... Oh, wait. There was actually one joke that I found kind of funny, and it came from Lola. And hashtag Lola is best younger loud. But there's this line that she says where it's like, my pageant teacher, whenever she takes a break, she goes to yell in her locker. I found it amusing because it felt kind of sad. 'Cause it's like, I mean, I found it more amusing because it's like, it's kind of sad for her to be like, she's so stressed out that she has to yell in a locker just to like
Oh
get a
yeah,
break.
that was actually pretty humorous.
That was kind
For
of...
some reason I've had a lot of Joker before. It also kind of...
Yeah, like, that was
weird.
amusing, but that's, like, the only joke that I found kind of funny in this episode. But that's it. Like, I can't think of anything else that was funny. Like, the whole sequence of Rita racking up her tickets. I mean, there's that whole thing where it's, like, I guess it's a crime to destroy a clock, which I was like, okay.
I have a question. When is there a law like that? You can't destroy a clock, because I've destroyed
The radio.
a clock before.
I don't know. Like, states have their own weird laws. I don't get it.
I don't know.
I know that in Minnesota it's illegal to cross the border with a chicken on your head.
Again, a weird law. Like, that's in Michigan.
I don't even know how many.
Wait, Michigan or Minnesota?
What animal is it?
Minnesota.
Okay, thank you. I sometimes get the two states confused.
At least not as bad as the Iowa stuff apparently I've been hearing about.
But again, I can't really say... Oh, there was one thing I did like. The ending. unlike Pipe Dreams where it just went back to square one, at least this episode, Lynn Sr. and the kids realize that Rita does need a break and they're pretty much tiring her out. So Lynn Sr. decides to pretty much help the kids get ready in the morning and do all that so she can have some time to sleep, which I thought was a nice ending. It was a nice ending to end off the episode. Like, so that, the joke with Lola, like, that's really all I can say that I liked in this episode. But otherwise, this is just forgettable. Like, it's the same way I felt about Pipe Dreams. It's going to be an episode that I'm not going to remember, and unlike Pipe Dreams, I think this is going to be an episode that a lot of people are going to dislike over time.
Honestly, I just want to get this thing done and over with, because...
So, alright, Yoshi, what would you give this? Andy's muted.
I would put it in the average house.
Oh, he's still here, okay. Average house? Alright.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would put this episode in the average house.
Decent still.
It's alright. I don't know if I find this or Pipe Dreams better, but no, I think this episode's slightly better.
Yeah, even
it's a little better than Pipe Dreams.
A little better, or this.
And that's another thing we're the minority for. We prefer this over Pipe Dreams, but just by a little.
Yeah,
just by a hair.
Yeah,
just a little bit. Alright. Final episode.
Alright, final episode. We have Teachers Union. To try and make gym class better, Lincoln and Clyde set Coach Bukowski and Mrs. Johnson up. So, what did you think of this episode?
I thought it was meh.
So, since Instagram, you've finally been able to find an episode that's actually good. Like,
yeah.
Forget all the decent stuff. I actually kind of like this.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was good too, and this is an unpopular opinion.
That probably is going to turn into an unpopular opinion.
We're completely split on this. It's like half and half. One half likes it, one half not really.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
This is polarizing.
Yeah,
you and Muppet, you guys did not like this episode.
It's not that. I didn't care for this.
We'll find it mediocre.
I just didn't care for this. I got nothing out of this. What else do you want me to say? It's another Clink and McCloud episode that shows these two are not interesting as a duo. Lori is here, and she's she's just as annoying as she was in Fandom Pains.
That's about the worst thing here.
Neither of the teachers are all that fun to watch, and their attempts to be over the top are just face palm worthy. And then we get to an ending where it pretty much shows that Lincoln and Clyde have not really learned their lesson, and the cycle just continues on from the beginning. Except this time they're trying to set Mrs. Johnson up instead of Coach Bukowski, because now she's being mean because she had a bad date.
You know what I have to say?
Go ahead.
Could you just use Lenny in the role? It would have been much nicer to see Lenny do something.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, again, she would still be acting dimwit, but it would at least fit her character. I feel like for Lori, they're turning her into a Lori clone. I mean, no, a Lenny clone. Why did I say that? Turning Lori into a Lori clone.
Nope.
But
turn your character into clone themselves. That's how that works.
You know, I feel like this episode's only made and again, that's also why I think Lori's only in this, just so she can give advice for Lincoln, and also so she can show her feet for the foot fetish fans of the show, because I guess they like seeing her barefoot.
I bet some people masturbate to that.
Yeah, great to know that, Muppet.
Yeah, thanks for putting the bad thought in my head.
Yeah, seriously, that's something that our listeners want to hear.
Hey, I'm just being myself. I'm just being the angry Muppet guy, the angry Muppet spot.
Right. So like, because I mean, I know I'm going off topic, but it's like, aside from Lily, Lori's like the one sister who's shown barefoot the most. Which I'm like, okay, is this just because people like seeing her barefoot? And they like, oh, she has hot feet or something like that. You know what? I'm going way too off topic. Let's keep talking about the episode.
Yeah. Before we get on the whole topic
don't get too disturbing.
But speaking of feet, there's like this one gross moment where like Coach Bukowski took off his foot. This is a pet peeve of mine. Like when a character shows like a gross foot of theirs, like I just cringe so hard. I was like, why
does Nickelodeon?
No. Okay.
I think okay. Can I just say something?
No.
That was.
Can I just say something?
Go ahead.
Nickelodeon has a foot fetish because this has happened in a bunch of Nicktoons.
No wonder they hired Dan Schneider on.
Oh,
We might as well say it.
That was the ultimate savage right there. Like, okay.
We know it's an old story, but we might as well bring it up. But anyways, yeah. So like, that's the problem I have with this episode. There's just nothing to it. I can't say it's bad either, because it just, I really didn't get much of a reaction out of it. Not really a positive reaction, not much of a negative reaction. It's just nothing. Like for me, like
Okay.
I mean, since I don't really have much to say, I might as well let Yoshi and Flossie go.
Yep.
Yeah, you
Alright,
two
we'll
go.
talk about it now. Because we're the positive ones here.
Yep.
Alright.
Minions.
Now, shut up. Now, here's the thing.
That was the weirdest laugh I've ever
we're keeping that in.
articulated. Yes.
Okay, continue.
What's your clothes?
Oh great, I think we
Alright,
scared him away.
Okay, so I guess it's up to me.
Alright, stop. We're going off topic.
Like, even though I said this is good, I still agree that Lori doesn't need to be
Yeah.
here, really.
Lori
It's like-
is kind of pointless.
It's like, yeah, I mean, it's Clink and McCloud, but finally, since the first time since I think Argue for Real, I found a Clink and McCloud episode that was actually good.
In season 3.
And in this entire gosh dang bomb, too. It's like, finally an episode that's good after mediocre at worst net gains, bad fandom pains, finally, unintentional rhyme. Alright, so...
Yeah.
Are you gonna continue?
Yeah,
with your
I'm not really a
positive-
fan of the fact they still throwing around the name. But anyway, positive things. There's a minor thing. I think I'm just for some reason adding Girl Jordan as a character I just like for some reason, despite being minor. I don't know why. I mean, if they use her more, it'd be more justified, but I guess we'll just...
I mean, I
wait and
guess
see,
Girl
but I doubt
Jordan is part of Lincoln's group of friends, so okay.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
can I just say something?
Which is a
Lincoln's
bit
groups of
odd
friends
because we've
aren't interesting.
it. Mhm.
which is odd because they've never hung out once. So
But I guess
how
they're
is she
friends now,
considered
okay.
Lincoln's friends?
I don't know. I guess it's like their thing where it's like it's all boys. Let's just add a girl to make things interesting. Which okay,
I'm open to it.
but I mean, continue with your positive thoughts on this episode.
For some, like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of the things I'd say are just for some reason things. Like how the conversation that Lincoln and Clyde had, I thought it was amusing because it was so over-exaggerated in a way. I don't know, just something kind of amusing for it. I feel like this is an episode I could just see grow on me. Like, oh, dang it.
Yoshi will be back in a sec, and he's back.
Like, I'm glad that good Clink and McCloud episodes are possible, especially considering the fact what we've gotten since Argue for Real, and that's been like baby steps since the last time before that.
Okay, so like since Bossy's kind of going off topic a little, did you
I
find
am
anything
going
fun?
a little bit, yeah.
Did you guys find anything funny in this episode? Like again, I didn't find
Well,
anything funny, but I want
I-
to know what you found funny.
For some reason, Girl Jordan's fear of barbed wire just kind of got a slight kick out of me because I just have weird sense of humor.
Well, wouldn't most people be scared of
I don't know.
barbed wire?
I don't know.
I don't know. I just found the episode silly in a ridiculous kind of way. Like I know this
Uh-huh.
is this feels like something that's not meant to be taken seriously, and it doesn't always work sometimes. I'm in the minority of people who say this, but I did not like A Fridge Too Far. I know that episode is very silly, but it's just not my kind of silly. This, on the other hand, I thought was silly in a ridiculous kind of way. Like they're obviously treating this like crap. They know it's stupid, and I just found it funny. It wasn't great though. That opening gag sequence with the whole harsh Jim thing.
Oh, there
I
was a
didn't
Peanuts
like that.
reference.
There's a
There
Peanuts
was-
reference, which
There,
is
there
like
was a Peanuts reference, which
Where
which
Clyde
was
gets-
nice.
they've
Wait,
already
why-
been doing a lot of Peanuts references,
They
so
have
I'm
done
not
it
that
before.
surprised.
Because they are quite similar, and yeah, I just thought it was silly. I guess I have a different sense of humor when it comes to these kind of episodes.
Same with me, probably.
Yeah, and I'm not taking this episode seriously. I see this is supposed to be a silly, goofy episode you're not supposed to take seriously, but the problem is that, I don't know, the silly stuff, it just didn't come off funny to me. And I can enjoy silly episodes in this series. You've heard me praise Fool's Paradise and Potty Mouth, and not to mention other episodes that have come from Season 1 and Season 2 that are silly and goofy that I really love, that I really enjoy, or even love, like Price of Admission, One Floor of the Loud House, Undue Pressure. Those episodes I really enjoy, and they're not meant to be taken seriously, and I really enjoy them. But for this, I just can't, because it just feels basic. Like, it doesn't feel silly and goofy in a way that makes me amused.
Yeah, but it's them taking that basic concept and making it silly that I just found funny. I don't know why, but I just
Yeah, but
found
like,
it kind of silly.
but like the concept, it just kind of feels been there, done that. It's like,
Eh,
I don't know. It's just like they're gonna set the two
I
teachers.
kind of felt that way, but
They set the two
I
teachers
don't know.
together, and their way of doing it is like, oh, I hear this teacher is single. Oh, I hear this teacher sleeps on a boat, or has their own boat.
okay,
I don't know what it was.
okay, yeah, that kind of dialogue was a bit annoying.
Okay, there's
But-
one thing I have to agree with one of my friends with somebody on. This episode could have been another version of Lick It Loud Girl Grew.
Okay,
Oh my
this episode
God.
is nowhere near as bad as that episode.
Nowhere
It
near
is-
as bad.
Like,
Yeah.
Girl Guru is not a good episode. Let me
Forgot
just
how much
state that.
I hate that episode. I forgot how much I hate that episode.
But like, it feels, but it does kind of feel similar in the fact that it just feels predictable and not that interesting.
Well, at least Lincoln isn't taking so many disgusting pies to the face.
Where it's like, for Lincoln Loud Girl Group, the whole thing is like, Lincoln's gonna get advice and it turns out backfires. And for this, the whole thing is like, Lincoln and Claire are gonna like get the two teachers together and then it's not gonna work out as well.
I'm just glad Lincoln didn't just get punished harshly.
Which then begins like this scene where it's like, the coach just loses his shit and just wants to attack Lincoln and Claire, where I was like, you know they're children, right? You can't hurt them. That's child abuse.
Yeah, that was not good at all.
I mean, and then it led to that
But-
scene where they're doing the obstacle course, which I was like, this is alright, I guess.
No, okay, I have a question. This has kind of been annoying me recently in cartoons.
What is it?
When the character can do the obstacle course in fear perfectly, that's just been annoying me
That's
as of late.
kind of annoying. And that's the thing, like, they try to make the coach interesting, but I don't know, I just don't find him that amusing as a character. I feel like they're trying too hard to make him like this character who is like tough on his kids, which is something that I don't buy all that much because I don't see it that much. But they also try and make him like this loser character. If anything, it kind of reminds me of that principal from the Captain Underpants film. What's his name?
Krupp.
Yes, like
Mr. Krupp.
which I just saw the Captain Underpants film. I thought it was pretty good. And like that was another character who was angry with his kids, but he also kind of realized that his life outside of school is not that good. That was executed much better, and like I like the character more. I feel like for Coach Bukowski, I just didn't find him that interesting. Neither did I find Mrs. Johnson that interesting either. I don't know why people want to see more episodes with these two.
I think, this might be a weird shipping, but I think Principal Wilbur and Mrs. Johnson can make a cute couple.
I mean,
Call me weird.
You do you, but all right.
Okay, it's a weird combination. It's a weird combination, but come on.
So I mean, so Yoshi, you want to give your score on this? Because I don't have anything else to say about this episode.
My score, well, I'll be honest, I like this episode, but I don't love it as much as I did when I first saw it. But I'm a little bit forgiving because I do have a very silly sense of humor sometimes, and it just kind of varies with each episode. So for me, I put it in the glory house. I enjoyed it. Not in a okay. This feels like one of those episodes that's so stupid, so ridiculously dumb, but I find it funny. I don't know why. I just find it funny.
That kind
I'm
of sounds
sorry.
like my same opinion on Study Muffin, an episode that I like a lot more than most other people apparently.
I like
Yeah, City Muppet is a good episode, though.
It
brought us Lisa's rape
It's funny.
face.
Oh, yeah.
Who
It never
could forget
turned
that
into
epic
the best
rape
episode.
face?
Right, but
You brought it back in the best. Okay, I'm done.
yeah, but you know what? I got nothing else. I'm pretty much done, and I'm pretty much done with all these episodes because this really wasn't that good. We didn't really get a lot of good episodes.
Well, let's
Yeah,
just close this out.
yeah. For
Teachers
me,
Union, it's an episode that's not great, but I could revisit it. It might grow over time.
yeah. So for me, the best of the bomb. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm gonna give it to Net Gains. It's Lynn's best episode, and Flip pretty much made it a tolerable episode for me. So yeah, best of the bomb. And for worst, well, it's fandom pains. What else could it be? I mean, you've heard my rant about it, so like, yeah, that's the worst of the bomb. Bossy?
Best, I'm giving it to Teachers Union. It's the only one that didn't call decent, mediocre, or outright bad, and it just works for me. And worst, Yeah, no freaking surprise, dude. It's going to Fandom Pains. This episode is legitimately making me lose interest in the show. Thanks for that. Thank Lori and Lenny both. Thanks.
All right, Yoshi.
All right. I usually do it as a bit of a best to worst list because that's my kind of thing. So, best of the week for me, I'm gonna have to give it to Teachers Union. I know I'm alone on this and with Vossi, but I just enjoyed it. I'm sorry. Second best for me would go to Net Gains. I still enjoyed it. It was decent. Nothing amazing, but it was decent. The middle of the road would go to Rita Her Rights. Didn't have too much to say about it. It was alright, not great. Second worst would go to Pipe Dreams. That episode was completely pointless, and I honestly did not find it funny. And the gross out gags were just no.
Oh, and the
And
chicken
what?
bone thing. We forgot to bring that up in the episode.
Oh,
Oh, that existed. Oh yeah, that.
That was
don't
stupid.
yeah.
I miss Hops.
But
I
continue.
know. It was like the best.
And then worst of the week, no surprises, Fandom Pain. This is
Yeah,
the
no
episode
shit.
where I said to myself, I'm starting to lose interest because
That was the
episode
same thing. Like,
I think
was
everyone
so
just said it.
annoying.
Well, we
It's
said
so
it.
bad.
Everyone
even
else
though I
just
didn't have that
Yeah.
exact same
We
freaking effect.
said it because
Yeah, we.
I
us,
hate being
podcast
alone on
guys.
this kind of stuff.
And if I had to pick an honorable and dishonorable mention, my honor would be Rita Her Rights, and my dishonorable would be Net Gains.
All right, Muppet. What's your best and
Okay,
worst?
even though I called it boring, I think this one's a hard one because I'm just picking the least boring episode. It's a tie between Net Gains or Teachers Union. Worst of the week, no shit, Sherlock. It's Fandom Pains.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
no shock for anyone.
yeah, like again, we're alone on not liking Phantom Pains, but you know what? I mean, that's just what a lot of fandoms are like. They don't always agree on things.
Well,
Mhm.
well, we can all agree on one thing.
Yeah, we don't like this episode.
No, that we're going to be excited for doing more podcast episodes.
Yep. So stay tuned because we have a bunch of new episodes set to come out in
A
like the
bunch
next.
of new episodes that are coming out, including the next half-hour episode, which is called Tripped, and that name gives me bad vibes to Tricked.
Let's hope it's not that. So we'll be recording our next podcast in a couple
Around
weeks,
May.
And we may have. Ooh, we're going to have a special guest. We're not going to say who.
We're not gonna say who, so look out for that. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment if you want to give your opinion on any of these episodes. We always enjoy hearing you guys talking about these episodes and giving your thoughts and whatnot. So keep that coming. We enjoy that. And until next
If you like bad episodes, that's fine. More power to you. If you like Fandom Pains, that's all good. Just don't bash us for our
Well,
opinions.
fine and dandy, just
We're
don't
supposed
bash
to respect
I
each
just
other's
like-
opinions.
Yeah, we'll if you respect us, we'll respect you.
That's how it
Yep.
works.
Right,
Mhm.
so
That's how it
like,
works.
so if you guys are mad at us about our opinions on Fandom Pains, just try to keep it civil in the comments.
Mhm.
Yeah, YouTube comments are the worst.
Country
But-
music.
But until next time, I'm Andrew Brower.
Anglophile Gamer,
Yoshi Player.
you dead?
I am currently eating a chimichanga.
I just said who's dead. I just said who's dead after Yoshi.
Alright, and we'll see you guys next
Yoshi's
time.
Abarachi.
Bye.
Bye. Check out Ordinary
Or
Girl.
even buying Hebrew.
Read,
I don't know what
read
that is.
Rocked Away.
Anyway.
Read